Hello, astrology learners. Thank you for joining Lisa Astro Channel. Today, I am going to be discussing Nakshatras and Dasha life cycles. Before we get started, I need to explain some mathematical concepts with you so you can understand how nakshatras come into play within a birth chart. There are 12 houses in the birth chart. Each house spans 30 degrees. 12 houses times 30 equals 360 degrees, a full circle, a complete birth chart. When you pull your Vedic birth chart online, you will see a list of planets and the correlating degrees. This is showing when you were born exactly where the planets were in the sky and capturing the exact degree which aligns with your birth chart. Each planet is located in one of the houses from 0 to 29 degrees. Now we need to understand nakshatra. A nakshatra is simply a constellation, a star. There are 27 nakshatras in Vedic astrology. A nakshatra measures 13.20 degrees, so within one zodiac sign, there are 3 nakshatras. Each nakshatra is further divided into 4 padas. These nakshatras are important because they describe you. Once you determine the planets, the assigned zodiac signs, and degrees within your birth chart, you can find the correlating nakshatra and pada from charts online or from a trusted astrologer. As I mentioned, nakshatra is a constellation or a star. I will now share some history behind the nakshatra. In the Hindu mythology, it is believed that there was a king called Dakshan who had 27 daughters. The moon married all 27 daughters, symbolizing the nakshatras. However, Moon had a strong interest towards one of the queens more than the others, Rohini. As per astrology, Rohini is known as the exaltation point of the moon. Because of the same reason, the other 26 wives of the moon complained to the king. Regardless of the repeated requests to the king, the moon didn't change his nature. It made the king angry, and he cursed the moon, making it shrink in size. This led to the waning of the moon. Seeing the consequences, the other deities requested to the king to take his curse back and promised him that the moon would visit each of his daughters equally to spend time with them. Because the king cannot draw his curse off completely, he mentioned a remedy to the moon. He mentioned that in half a month, he would be able to restore his strength. This is the reason why we have a full moon and a new moon day. You will see each planet and ascendant has a assigned nakshatra with a planet lord and ruling deity or god. And that planet will play a significant role in your life. In Vedic astrology, the nakshatras focus on the moon nakshatra because it defines the sequence of your dasha life cycle. The moon nakshatra is definitely important, but I also like to focus on the ascendant nakshatra, which doesn't get as much attention. And all of the rest of the planets have associated nakshatras, and all of these will give you the complete picture of your life. Beyond the planetary and zodiac placements, within our birth charts, the nakshatra gives us even further determination of desired results. Nakshatras are classified as male or female. Each is also classified as dharma, kama, moksha, or artha, the classifications I have discussed in a previous video. Based on your assigned moon nakshatra, you will get an idea of which of these 4 pillars will be more of a focus within your life. These nakshatras also play an important role within the marriage compatibility as well. The moon nakshatra is the most important because it is what defines the dasha life cycles, which we will discuss next. Now we need to understand what are dasha life cycles. The dasha life cycle is referred to as the Vimshottari dasha system. The dasha life cycle always follows the same sequence. Ketu's cycle is 7 years, Venus' cycle is 20 years, Sun's cycle is 6 years, Moon's cycle is 10 years, Mars' cycle is 7 years, Rahu's cycle is 18 years, Jupiter's cycle is 16 years, Saturn's cycle is 19 years, and Mercury's cycle is 17 years. Your moon nakshatra lord sets the sequence for your dasha life cycle. The sequence is always in the same order, and those are the exact numbers of years assigned to each dasha. Let's take an example of the first nakshatra of Ashwini. If you were born with your moon in Aries, in Ashwini nakshatra, the lord of Ashwini nakshatra is Ketu. So you would be born in Ketu dasha life cycle, and it would last 7 years. And then you would go into Venus dasha for 20 years, and that's how the sequence would follow within your life. Let's take another example. Let's say you were born with a Taurus moon, and you would be assigned to Rohini nakshatra. This person would be born in the 10-year moon cycle, and then their next cycle would be the 7-year Mars cycle, and then the 18-year Rahu cycle, and so on. You are not able to complete all of the 9 life cycles because it spans 120 years. It is important to know the sequence of your dasha life cycles because we can make predictions based on the areas of life of what the dashas are in and the planets correlating within your birth chart. Now let's apply all of these concepts to a real life example. Let's take a look at Albert Einstein's birth chart and apply what we have learned today. Many of you are familiar with Albert Einstein, but if you're not familiar with who Albert Einstein is, let me give you some background on him. He's a German-born theoretical physicist, known to be one of the greatest and most influential physicists of all times. He is best known for developing the theory of relativity, which revolutionized our understanding of space, time, and gravity, and the universe. Here is Albert Einstein's birth chart. You can see all 12 houses within the birth chart, which, as I taught you earlier, remain fixed. The numbers represent the zodiac signs. The first house, the ascendant, also known as Lagna or rising sign. Ascendant is also listed with the planets in a birth chart with an assigned degree. It is important to understand that your ascendant is the zodiac sign rising from the eastern horizon when you were born. Ascendant has an exact degree associated with it. Any planets in the first house close to the degree of the ascendant in your birth chart will give you strong qualities of those attributes associated with those planets. You will also see the ascendant symbolized in a birth chart as ASC, as you can see above. You will always see the ascendant in the first house, and the number correlating will be your ascendant. So in Albert Einstein's birth chart, his ascendant is number 3, Gemini. Albert Einstein has moon in Scorpio. Now, to determine the degree, you would need to find an online birth chart or software. His moon is at 22.25 degrees, which would make his moon nakshatra in Jyestha Pada 2. This tells us about Albert Einstein's birth chart. The lord of his moon nakshatra is Mercury. Mercury is going to play a huge role in his chart. Mercury rules intelligence. As we know, Albert Einstein was a great genius. The Pada 2 describes Albert Einstein even further. Having a profound sense of duty, having a seasoned, mature outlook in life. Albert Einstein was stern and reserved, and perhaps stingy with his wealth. He did not spend any of the money he earned from his Nobel Peace Prize. He left it all to his wife. So now you can see, just from observing the moon nakshatra in a birth chart, how impactful it is in describing a person's life and the theme of their life based on the lord of the nakshatra. This is all very powerful. All of this drew me deeper into Vedic astrology. Let me review the other concepts we learned earlier, and you can understand the favorable planetary positions. When we look at Albert Einstein's birth chart, we see Ketu in the second house, in the sign of Cancer. If you recall, I mentioned Ketu does well in water signs, and Cancer is a water sign. So this is a favorable position. Ketu makes you detached from the areas of life where it sits. So since it is the second house, he was detached from his family and wealth. His moon is in Scorpio in the sixth house. He has a debilitated moon. Remember, I told you in a previous video that debilitated isn't always bad. Albert Einstein had a genius mind with a debilitated moon. Scorpio gives the intensity and depth of thinking. There are always positives to every planet and zodiac sign alignment. The debilitated moon made him worry about his family and money matters. The mental strain affected his health because sixth house is of health. He has Mars and Rahu in eighth. In a Capricorn sign, Mars is exalted in Capricorn sign, so that is a strong placement. I mentioned Rahu does well in earth signs and air signs. Capricorn is an earth sign, so that is a good energy for Rahu. Eighth house represents research, intricate studies, deep and complicated sciences, mysteries and hidden areas not discovered. Exalted Mars gave Albert Einstein the strong courage, energy, stamina, and willpower within these areas. Rahu represents the ability to understand complex and extremely intricate areas of life, research, and the ability to understand the mysteries of the universe. So this combination explained the research and innovative skills of Albert Einstein. He has Jupiter in ninth house in Aquarius. Jupiter is neutral with Saturn, ruler of Aquarius. Jupiter makes a connection with Pisces in the 10th house being ruled by Jupiter. A Kendra house in connection with the Trikona house makes a Raj Yoga. I had gone over that concept in a previous video as well. Showering Einstein with magnificent blessings of wisdom. Jupiter symbolizes wisdom. The planet of wisdom is in the house of higher learning and wisdom. Jupiter expands wherever it sits. This made Einstein a noble and expansive nature and propelled him to streamline his energies towards the greater good of mankind. You will see majority of his planets are placed in the 10th house of career. This shows that career was a major focus in Albert Einstein's life. With his career and work, he was known for all of the discoveries he made. He has Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Saturn in the sign of Pisces in the 10th house. Sun is friends with Jupiter's, rules Pisces. Mercury is debilitated in Pisces. Mercury deals with communication. Einstein had communication problems as a toddler. Remember, a debilitated planet can give both good and bad in a birth chart. Saturn is neutral with Jupiter. Saturn and Sun are enemies towards each other, causing challenges, weakening the aspecting fourth house of mental peace and happiness, and challenges with married life. Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces. I hope that helps you see how we apply the meaning of the houses, the meaning of the zodiac signs, strengths of planets, as well as nakshatras, and tie it all in together and see how all of these components fit and describe a person's life. Vedic astrology is a deep and mystical science, and it's amazing all the things you can extract from the birth chart and see how it explains one's life. So that concludes our discussion for today. I hope you enjoyed my explanation of the nakshatras and the dasha life cycles, two very important concepts which define many things, many powerful things within our life. These are very interesting and fundamental concepts which greatly impact the birth chart and guide us with the predictions and details into life events. Next week, I'm going to cover the meaning of karakas within the birth chart and house lords. We are covering more significators within the birth chart and building upon the topics that I have discussed previously. So if you enjoyed this video, please like it and help share it farther on YouTube so many more can benefit from this knowledge I am providing. Please share my channel and this video with anyone you know who is curious about Vedic astrology and would like to learn more. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon if you haven't already done so you can be notified when I upload the next video. I appreciate all of you for joining me today, and I will see you next week. Take care and see you soon. Bye-bye.